Happy Wednesday to everyone out there in parent tween land. We are coming to you live in our Facebook group, on our LinkedIn page, and this is going to our YouTube channel as well. So you can find us all those places. But if you want to be a part of the conversation, come over to Parent Tween Connection Facebook group, because that's where we're actually going to be monitoring for questions. So today we've got one of our trusted experts with us again, Scott Feld. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you, Clarissa. I love being here with you.
Thank you. You know, so many families, especially in a post-pandemic world, are talking about mental health, mental wellness, kids' resiliency. You know, they're going into the technology more than engaging, which kind of happens anyway in today's day and age. But so many of our kids are facing obstacles that we never did.
Yeah.
And I know this is a big piece of what you work to help them build the inner strength to do so they can tackle these obstacles. And for folks who haven't met Scott, you need to. He's a lifelong entertainer and DJ and has a phenomenal edutainment program through his company called Minds and Motion. And I want to have you actually talk to us for a minute, Scott, about the short version of how that transpired, and then talk to us about the Power Quest.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Clarissa. So, at first glance, it wouldn't seem like someone in entertainment and a DJ should be talking about, mental health and mindset for kids. But behind the scenes, I've been a junkie of personal development. I've been a junkie of learning it. I've been a junkie of studying it, and then also teaching and coaching it for almost as long as I've done the entertainment. And the whole thing was just to bring it all together. Like, let's entertain while we educate, and the type of education, not math and science. This is how to use the power of your mind, something that kids don't really hear too often.
Right. Well, I mean, it's something that adults don't necessarily hear that often. You know, I know for those of us who are personal development junkies, we're like, yes, you can control your thoughts. And for folks who are completely unaware of that concept, it's like, you and I are walking around with 17 heads and 4 eyeballs.
Yeah, totally. And it's a perfect segue too, because the reason that, when the value of what I do and the studying and what I've put into this to bring this about is because parents don't know it. And so they see their kids doing some of the things that you said. They see them having issues, troubles. They see them falling into technology. They don't know what to do.
Correct.
So oftentimes they do nothing, hoping it will go away. And often it just gets worse. In fact, most often it gets worse. So that's where I step in, and I can really be the interim. I don't take the place of the parents, but I become the coach of the family. And if you're going to teach your kid how to play like high level soccer, high level golf, whatever it might be, dancing, you're not teaching them. You don't know it. You didn't go down that road like I did. So let me step in and be that coach. That's what I do.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you actually, when you and I were talking yesterday, you used the term of, if we can empower greatness young, then it helps us not necessarily avoid, but navigate with somewhat smoother waters some of the challenges that can come up down the road.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Knowledge is everything. And when you know something and then you put that knowledge into action, it becomes a practice and a habit for you. And those are things that you will continuously use. So when an obstacle comes up, if your whole habit has been to run away and escape because that's what you've always done, that's what you'll do. But if you have a choice and you've gone through like a course like what I have, or you've learned some of the things that I provide, then all of a sudden an obstacle comes up and you've strengthened and built up the habit of doing certain things that has you get past it, thinking certain ways so you can take certain actions. And then the obstacle and challenge is small. It's kind of like, to an ant, a rock or a boulder is a giant mountain, right? But to us, it's just something to kick. It's tiny, tiny. So that's how you'll face your obstacles, depending on what powers you've strengthened inside of you. Can't strengthen a power until you know about it. So awareness is first, and that's what I bring about.
Absolutely. And so I know you've been doing a lot of this one-on-one and in groups, and I know you've got a hybrid program that you're working on, or that you're bringing in business partners, as I've heard you refer to them. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to dive into the first piece of the power formula that is key to helping our kids, but also ourselves, overcome obstacles. So Power Quest first.
Absolutely. Yeah. So The Power Quest it is the keys to unlocking your inner superpowers. The promise of it is to become unstoppable and unmesswithable. You can go for what you want, and things can't have an effect that they would take you off track. You'll always
Right.
have the power over them. So that's what a Power Quest is. The formats of it are, I've done some one-on-one coaching. I've done some small and large group coaching and
Mhm.
speaking. And now the hybrid, and with my business partners are actually the kids doing the hybrid. So they give me the feedback and they just love that title. So now what they do is they listen to the course recorded on their own time. They do the
Mhm.
activity sheets that I provided. They use the props that are involved. And I'll talk more about that soon. And then once a week, they get on the phone with me and we talk
Mhm.
about what they've gone through, answer their questions. And because they're my business partners, they give me their feedback on the course and how it's
Mhm.
going. And so far, it's been off the charts, amazing, better than I could have ever thought of. In fact,
Awesome.
I just got off the phone with a girl who's doing the hybrid, who's in London. And it was just a magical talk, just amazing.
Awesome. So I
Yeah,
know one of the first things that you tell or that you help kids navigate is figuring out the first step of the Power Quest process, which is
yeah,
who. I love question
yeah.
words, by the way.
Who?
So, what do you mean by who? And then I always like to bring this into something tangible that parents or grandparents who are watching can do with their kids. So, can we define
Yeah,
it and then maybe give them an idea of something that they can do that would
yeah.
complement what you might do, for
Yeah,
example?
absolutely. That's a great idea. So the who question that you're referring to is inside of something that I call the power formula, and it's the four questions to ask ourselves. And it's the base of the power quest. So the four questions are, okay, and we have our outer mirror, our color of our hair, how long it is, how short it is, color of our eyes, skin, whatever it might be. That's our outer mirror. Our inner mirror is our characteristics, right? So it's what it is that we see ourselves as, what we have. So for example, some positive characteristics might be self-confident, sincere, thoughtful, trustworthy, independent, right? These are all
Mhm.
positive characteristics. And you see yourself as these things or you don't. Some
Mhm.
negative characteristics could be, I'm resentful, I'm short tempered, I'm sneaky, I'm irresponsible. I know I never had that one, right? So,
Neither did I.
so, so these are the inner mirror characteristics that we have. So in the who question, that's what we look at. In the what question, we look at what we want. It's through imagination instead of conditional thinking. The kids have Play-Doh. They make things out of Play-Doh. They see, and this is the conversation I just had, how you can take a ball of Play-Doh, you can think about what you want it to be, and then you can turn it into that. So this girl I was talking to today, she had turned it into some hearts. And I showed her, I said, look, you understand, right? Like you had to think heart for there to actually be a heart. And then I said, look at your sweater. It was a pink sweater. I go, look at your sweater. You realize that somebody had to think about that sweater. Like it had to happen up here. And then they got into action and they did whatever. And I started doing this. And I'm like, I think this is how you make a sweater. I'm not sure. But she got it, right? And she was like, oh my gosh. And I go, now do you see how that could fit for you? And this particular girl who's 12 loves to act, dance, and sing. And so I said, you thought of that and then you tried it and then you experienced it and it provided something for you and you liked it, so you kept going, right? That's how the what works. You thought of it. So we start talking about the imaginative world and how you can use that power that we have, and then we ask you why. We go from our head to our heart. We go a little deeper and we say, what does it make you feel when you do that thing that you love, right? Hold on to that feeling, because that
Mhm.
feeling is one of the things that will carry you past obstacles, because you want to keep that feeling, you want that feeling, and you can always go back to it by doing the thing that you love to do, even when
Mhm.
it's hard. And finally, we ask the question, how? And we talk about knowledge first, info. How do I get what I want? How do I do the thing I want to
Mhm.
do? And if we look at anybody, it's baby steps. It's step by step by step by step by step. And it's not jumping from
Mhm.
the bottom to the top of the mountain. But a lot of kids get stopped and a lot of people get stopped because they don't know how to jump to the top of the mountain. They can't see
Mhm.
the whole picture in front of them. And if they can't see everything to do, they don't do it. Looks too scary. So we have to use our courage, 5 seconds of courage. We say, jump out of our comfort zone, do that first action, that first thing. And once we've done that, we're out. We're in the adventure world, I call it, adventure land.
Right.
And we can take the next step. It's not quite as scary. And there might be a
Right.
leap in there or a jump, but there also might be a step that looks scary. So we remember what we did before, because we have this superpower called memory. And we go, remember how I jumped out that one time I did 5 seconds of courage? I'm going to do that again. And when you do it, you get to the next level. Now, there's some other things around that, like how you handle in your relationship with failure and mistakes, which we do later in the course. But for now, we just show them how to get in action. So that's the power formula. So let me go back to the first question, which is who am I and how you use that. Because I give them a sheet, right? This is a sheet that I use. This is negative characteristics. These are positive characteristics. What I ask them to do is I ask them to circle. Just be honest, all the ones that they see themselves as. So they might be circling, well, I'm charming, I'm cheerful, I'm honest, I'm humorous, I'm supportive, I'm trustworthy, I'm witty. You know, it has definitions in case they don't know what that means, but I'm those things, right? I tell them, okay, no judgment. This is the inner mirror, right? If we look at the outer mirror and we see, like, you know, we got a pimple, right? We don't like, we might, but we shouldn't. We might go, oh my God, my life is ruined, right? Some kids do. My life is ruined.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But in the real world, right? We don't judge ourselves too hard and not leave the house. Hopefully, that's a whole nother thing. But we look at the negative ones, right? And you go, oh geez, well, the truth is sometimes I am a little closed-minded. I don't really listen to others, and deceitful. I've lied to try to get what I want. Oh yeah. And I remember I was really impatient. Like I was like, can we go now? You know, so that's not good. So circling, you know, all the ones that they see themselves at without judgment. And then I say, I want you to asterisk or double circle or bold or highlight the top 5 on both sides. And then I want you to write down the top 1 that you see yourself as. And I go, just stay there, right? Just stay there. Just look at that. Just have that in front of you. Because now we're going to go to the what question. And we go to the what question. It's the imaginative, like I said, versus conditional thinking. They write out a what power list, not a wish list, a power list. I want them to feel like these are things that are in their power. And they write something down on there. So, you know, one says, I want to get into this college. She already knows that. Another says, huge dream, right? Says, I want to be a professional basketball player. And I never say, like others might, I never say, that's so hard. I go, okay, great. Because I know people have become professional basketball players. I actually watch them. So we know it's possible. So I would never get in the way of that like other people do. And we have to give them powers when people get in the way of that, how to handle it. That's part of the superpower. But I have them look here at this here and I say, so let's look at these positive traits, the ones that you circled, especially that main one that you wrote down. Is that trait one that you could use for this dream that you have, for this goal that you have, this thing that you want? So you say you want to be a professional athlete, and the thing that you wrote down that you most are in the positives is you're determined. And I say, is that a good one? Would that get you there? If you were determined, and they're like, yeah, I go, great. Then build up that one. Keep being determined in everything that you do. So that's a strong muscle, because we know that's going to help you. We want that one. Lots of determination is good. Okay, great. And then over on the negatives, it looks like you wrote down, selfish. You're selfish? Oh, how does that show up? Oh, you don't share things with your brother and sister, and you like, oh, okay. Do you think that's going to help you become a professional basketball player? Because you're going to have to pass and you have to share the ball and you have to work with a team. And they're like, no, not at all. And I go, well, we should probably get rid of that one. How do we get rid of it? Well, we no longer do it. Every time it shows up, we don't do it. And in fact, we replace it. Instead of just not doing it, there being a void, we replace it and we go, where I was going to be selfish, what is the opposite of that in the moment? I'm going to be thoughtful. I'm just going to choose thoughtful. It's right here on the list. So go ahead and circle that one, because that one's going to help you get rid of that. We don't focus on losing one. We focus on replacing one. So that so our mind goes to the positive.
Awesome.
And so That's what we do. And the last thing about it is we talk about making an ice cream cake and a spinach salad. See, the thing is, you have to have
You gotta
illustrations
have
that people
both.
can see. You got it right. So when we talk about that, we go, look, like if we had a sheet of ingredients instead of a sheet of positive and negative characteristics, what would you put in your ice cream sundae? Would you put ice cream? Sure. What flavors do you want? And then we get all excited, like, oh, chocolate, vanilla, right? All this. How about we put some whipped cream, right? How about we put some sprinkles? And then we go, right. So that's like saying, I want to be a professional athlete and you picking the ones on here, like you're going to be determined, you're going to be courageous, you're going to be confident. These would be like the ones that go in ice cream. Now,
Hmm.
to be a professional athlete, you do not need to be humorous. You don't need to be
Correct.
humorous. You could be,
Right.
but you don't need to, right? So we call
Yep.
humorous like the spinach. Because if you weren't going for the professional athlete, what you
Hmm.
might be going for also is that you love to make people laugh, and it makes you feel good when, like, you say a joke and everybody laughs, right? Now
Hmm.
that's not that, so you like doing that. So whenever you want to do that, choose humorous because it's right there for you. You have it. Just know when to use it. You're not going to put humorous as a big thing into your ice cream sundae because it's spinach. But when you're making the spinach salad, it's perfect,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
And you
Awesome.
might want some avocado, right? That's sweet. You don't you
Yeah,
like
but
how it
that's
feels
going
when
on the spinach salad. That's not going on the ice cream
it's not
sundae
going
for
on.
me.
But then finally we say, who wants some bugs? Well, you don't want bugs in either. They don't work for either. How about some dirt? Weeds? Should we put some? No, right? Those are the negative characteristics. So whatever you're going for, sneaky, spoiled, thoughtless, these are bugs, dirt, weeds. They're not going to taste good in anything. So we're going to
Hmm.
replace those. We're going to notice them. We can't replace them until we notice that they're there. We notice them. We don't empower them. We choose the opposite. We empower it. And that's how we become this person that can go out there and do anything, become unstoppable. So that's the first question. That's just the first question of the power formula of the Power Quest. So it's got a lot of
Awesome.
valuable, powerful information.
Well, and what I hear from this is, again, like I always like to try to bring it back to, what can parents do today? Obviously reach out to you about the Power Quest, but they could also even just very fundamentally have a conversation about how do you want to see yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you want to see yourself? Obviously, your conversation goes into a whole lot more color and is probably going to be a whole lot more effective than what we would do, which is, again, that whole entertainment background. But again, I think just even for us as the adults to think about who are we and how do we want to show up, never mind having that conversation with kids. It's good food for thought.
Well, with parents or grandparents or whoever, wants to work with the kids, download a sheet. Like, you can find sheets like this one online, of course, and you just download really negative character traits, really positive ones, and you can play the same game. Show kids their own inner mirror, right? Just show them their
Absolutely.
own inner mirror so they can
All
see it
right.
and choose.
We are going to be back next week. When actually you're going to be back live.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I will be with you for that one, but I know you will be in our Facebook group, and you're going to be talking more about the what. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to go to question number 2. So, and then what we do is we take the what and the who and we tie it together. So inside
Uh-huh.
my course, whether it's recorded or the live versions, that's always the next step. It's
Hmm.
what we just talked about. It's like, will those
Will
things
they? Yeah.
fulfill on your what, or will they take away from it? Choose. Do you
Yeah.
really want it? Okay, well, let's pick the right ingredients for what it is you want to make.
Awesome. All right. If you are watching, you watch this in the interim, be sure to join us next Wednesday, the 15th at 3 o'clock Eastern. Is that right, Scott?
It's going to be 4
4 o'clock.
o'clock Eastern time, 1
4
o'clock
o'clock Eastern.
Pacific.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, Scott, you have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Clarissa.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.